It's somebody hitting the jackpot downstairs, Carm. Here we go.
Tuesdays is known as $2 Tuesdays at WagerTalk.com and SportsMemo.com, where you can get the hottest handicappers,
All right, Carm.
best bet, or daily package for only
Look alive,
$2.
Carm. In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Oh, I forgot we got this. I keep forgetting about this new intro. Love this thing. All right, for real now, Carm. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. You are live.
Hey guys, Carmine Bianco, WagerTalk.com with this episode of Stoppage Time. I'm live from Las Vegas. This is why my background might look a little weird. Looking forward to some great games today, tomorrow, and Thursday in the sports book. We're going to talk about Man United and Atletico. The Thursday game, Sevilla and West Ham, and we're going to talk about the Wednesday game in Champions League to see if Chelsea can make it through to the final 8 as they go to France to play Lille. With me from SportsMemo, it's Pavlos Laguretos, and from WagerTalk.com, Nick Borrman and Kevin Dolan. Let's bring the boys in. Kev, I'm going to go to you first, man. I'm in the city that never sleeps. It's literally 7 a.m. over here, and I need some sleep. But how you doing?
Well, at least we have that in common, Carmine, because I'm off to bed myself after this show. But yeah, Vegas looks like fun over there. This is obviously my favorite week of the year. You know, we're gearing up for St. Patrick's Day over here on Thursday, obviously biggest day of the year. A holiday I'm sure all you good Italian folks celebrate with a ton of joy as well, obviously. But yeah, all's good right now. We've got a 5% play loaded up in the Champions League for tomorrow. We've got 2 4% plays up for tonight as well. And we've got a huge special offer dropping over at Wager Talk as well for St. Patrick's Day. So keep your eyes peeled for that. And you know, as always, looking forward to talking some Champions League and Europa League on today's show as well.
Awesome. Good to hear. And Ralph Michaels called me before I flew out to Vegas and asked him about my itinerary. And he goes, the 17th, he told me, is going to be absolutely crazy in Vegas, St. Patrick's Day. I'm not sure you knew, but Carmine is one of the most popular Irish names. You didn't know that, but you do now. Nick Borrman, what's going on?
Here, you know, weekend was Saturday was not a good day. Bounced back on Sunday, and looking forward to get to Champions League. Champions League knockouts have been fantastic so far. 13-5 so far between Champions and Europa knockouts. Hoping to continue that this week. I also have a 5% play going Wednesday, and hopefully we can cash another one of those tickets. So far, 2-0 on the 5% total, so I have a total set for Wednesday. Hopefully we can deliver the goods again.
All right. You will do it. I have faith in you, Nick. And let's bring in one of my favorite prop guys, the only prop guy I know that consistently wins with these things. Pavlos, what's going on?
Yeah, I gotta be honest with you, Carmine. Props have not been doing well, especially over the weekend. A couple of weird results. I've gotta admit it. But you know, I'm back in the grind. I have a lot of plays loaded. I have a best bet up for today, and there's a couple of props in there as well. I have a 5-unit top bet up for tomorrow, and I'm gonna have actually a couple of packages. One is already up for Thursday from the Europa Conference League matches. I like a couple of Europa League matches as well, but my focus is on the Conference League where, you know, nobody sees Nobody gives that competition a lot of credit, but there's a lot of good opportunities to be had, and I have my laser sights on a couple of plays. One of them is already posted. I'm gonna post a couple of more after the show, so it's looking bright.
All right, it's what I want to hear, Pavlos, looking bright, and I love the transparency. That's the great thing. We discuss while we talk about our winners, we also talk about our losers, and that's the great thing about you guys that I love is the complete transparency. We don't just talk about the good days; we talk about the bad days. But with that said, guys, let's head straight in to our first game. Let's put the odds up on the board. This one goes today. Man United, Atletico, the odds. Man United at home plus 120. The draw is plus 220. And Atletico Madrid is plus 290. Leg one result. It was a 1-1 draw. United getting a goal to even that up. Of course, the away goals rule is no longer a thing in Champions League and Europa League. So everything to play for today at Old Trafford. Kev, I'm going to go to you first on this one. Give me your thoughts. A big win for United on the weekend. Do they build off of that and the Ronaldo hat trick today against Atletico, a team that I remember as a Juventus fan, they went to Atletico, lost that game. I believe it was 2-0, came home, and Ronaldo led them to a 3-0 victory in that one, and they knocked off Atletico Madrid. What do you see today?
Well, it's funny because I was itching to talk about this game the last time. I didn't cover it. It wasn't one of my games. Believe Nick and Pavlos covered it. But as I said, I was itching to come in on that one and say with United is honestly like Atletico came into that first leg playing some of the worst football. It's probably lucky I didn't get a chance to talk about it because I was absolutely ready to tear into them. It's probably the worst football I think I've seen all season. I mean, it was Sunday league pub stuff, honestly, from Atletico. The two games coming in against United, they lost against Levante, bottom of the table, and then they followed up with an absolutely bogus 3-0 win over Osasuna as well. I mean, I had the unfortunate luck of catching all 90 minutes of that game. Osasuna deserved a draw, at least, if not the win. Atletico were all over the shop. It got so bad. Carrasco had to roar at his defence from the sideline to calm down. They were just hoofing balls up. And I mean, I was watching that going, as bad as United are, they're going to take advantage. Atletico looked all over the shop. They looked completely disjointed. But then I watched the game and, look who finally showed up to the party. Atletico were absolutely superb in that first leg. And I mean, where was this team all season? Because they certainly weren't in the Liga. Atletico pretty much dominated that first game from start to finish. I thought United were incredibly poor up front, especially Marcus Rashford as well. He looks well out of his depth at this level for me. And you'd have to say United were extremely fortunate to escape with a draw in that first leg overall. Thankfully, I didn't end up betting United in that game. As they say on the NBA show, they've been on my hell no list for a while now. But I did bet on both teams to score in that first leg. I thought both teams, would and could find the back of the net, which they did. And Atletico should have gotten more than one in that game. Griezmann hit the bar late. Versalco glanced off the bar as well with a header. So there were plenty of goal-scoring opportunities in that game for both teams, especially Atletico, obviously. So, to see this game being lined pretty much exactly the same as that first leg, over under 2.25. It's the same price on both teams to score as well. I have to look towards taking those plays all over again this time around, as I haven't seen too much change defensively for either of those teams over the previous 3 weeks since they played last. So, yeah, I mean, look, I'm all about what I played the first leg. I think it happens again. Both teams to score looks great value to me, over 2.25. Goals looks good value to me as well in this one. So, yeah, I'd be approaching this game from a goals perspective.
Yeah, I think I had the under in that game, Kev, and it looked good all throughout. And I referenced that the Ronaldo game on the weekend against Tottenham. In that game, I think on the show best bet last Tuesday on the show best bet, I took the both teams to score and over 2.5 goals plus I think it was plus juice plus 105 plus 110 and that was a winner 30 minutes into the game as United were up. I think it was 2-1 after the first 30 minutes of the game, so I was pretty happy about that. Nick, it obviously it's a big game. It's a big game for both sides. Everything is on the table today as far as these two. The one interesting thing about Atletico Madrid is if you look at not only that first leg tie, but their last two games is quick starts for this team. In that game against in League One, Joao Felix scored 7 minutes into the game. The last two games for Atletico Madrid, Joao Felix 3 minutes into the game puts them up 1-0. On the weekend against Cadiz, 2 minutes into the game, again Joao Felix scores. I'm going to throw this one at Pavlos. He's plus 375 to score in today's game. But what are your thoughts on this one?
Yeah, I'm sorry if my dogs are barking at the background. There's nothing I can do about it. Yeah, I actually, as for goal scorers go, I like Joao Felix, but I threw some money on Ronaldo to score at plus 220 because, he's coming off a huge game where he scored a hat-trick against Tottenham. That's a huge psychological boost. Even though they didn't actually play very good, soccer overall, the class of Cristiano Ronaldo was on display. So maybe he can score again. I expect him to, try to carry Manchester United over to the next round. I'm not so sure if he's going to do it, but I believe that either Ronaldo or Pogba is also at a nice price to score at plus 550. You can find it at certain sports books because the sports books actually think that Pogba is going to play as a holding midfielder, but in this new Manchester United side, he plays right behind Ronaldo, so he tests his foot a lot. He scores. He hits a lot of shots. From outside the area. So I wouldn't be surprised if Pogba scored. But for a more realistic approach, first of all, I'm going to say that United haven't actually beaten Atletico Madrid ever. They have 2 losses and a draw. And Atletico Madrid, they do have a couple of injury concerns. Of course, none of them is to starters, but I think they brought like 14 or 15 players to this trip, and there's a lot of youngsters there. So there's not a lot that Coach Simeone can do from the bench, to try to remedy something that happens in the match. And Atletico Madrid, they used to be a defensive juggernaut over the years up until a year ago. But this season they're just terrible. They concede goals left and right, especially on the road. They've kept they kept a clean sheet in just 29% of their La Liga matches so far, and in just 7% of their away matches. In 15 away matches in the La Liga, they kept just 1 clean sheet, and they also failed to keep a clean sheet in all 3 group stage matches on the road. So I believe that they do have the quality to remain unbeaten in this match. I like the draw here. It's a plus 220, and when the price of the draw is so low, you might as well take a flyer in it. So I did. It's actually one of my plays for today, the draw, and I also sprinkle a little bit of money on Ronaldo to score, and just a little less on Pogba to score.
Yeah, Pavlos, I'm going to tell you. I'm not far off on liking the draw in this one as well too. We'll see how the game goes. I just don't see a lot of goals in this game. I think because of the fact that the away goals rule has been nixed, it's gone. It no longer exists, and that first result was 1-1. We're starting anew in this leg 2, and it literally is the winner of this game will go on into the quarterfinal stages. We all remember what Atletico did, the game in the 2-leg tie against Liverpool, where they went to Liverpool. That game ended up going into extra time, and that was because of back then the away goals rule, and they knocked off Liverpool, eliminating them. But I don't know. We'll have to see. But I don't see a ton of goals in this game. I'm kind of leaning to the both teams to score no and under 2.5. I just don't. I think it's more of a tactical game more than anything else. Even though United have been involved in some EPL games that have had some goals in them. Nick, thoughts on this game?
Yeah, I tend to agree with that sentiment. I don't see a lot of action going in this game. That 1-1 finish in the first leg, I think this could play out very similar. I immediately look at the under here. I don't think there's a ton of value at the current number. I mean, it's 2.25 is what we're looking at right now. You can get 2.5 for -140 or maybe a little north of that, depending on your book. So one angle I like here for just a couple cents more is to grab a full another goal. So take under 3.5 goals and pair it with United on the double chance, which is a win or draw. I said it, I previewed United, as Kevin mentioned, in that first leg. And although they've had several disappointing results in the Premier League this season, mostly just not beating teams that they should be, they aren't losing either. In fact, before that game, they had just one loss in 90 minutes in their 18 games prior to that. And they've now added a second loss, which was against Man City, which, certainly not unexpected. But that's just 2 regulation losses over their last 22 games in all competitions. As Kevin mentioned, Atletico are on a little bit of a run right now. They're unbeaten in their last 5 games. But prior to that, they had 4 losses in their last 6 games. And even still, going back further, they've only won 12 of their last 28 games in all competitions dating back to October. So, the competition that they've beaten in their recent run isn't the strongest. It's not the worst either, I suppose. But they also have some disappointing results against teams they should be beating, drawing against Mallorca, Granada, and even losing to Levante. So I can't trust Atletico to come in here and win. Same token, I can't trust United to really win this game either. I think both teams probably, and one of them's got to move on, right? But I don't think either one of them's making it through the next round, to be honest. So I can't pick a side here. But what I will say is it's more likely that United don't lose this game, at least in regulation. And I'm going to pair that double chance with under 3.5 goals for this match. It's currently priced at about -150. But like I said, the under 2.5 is about -140. So just a couple cents more, I think you can get a full another goal here and have a decent chance of cashing this one.
All right. I love it, Nick. That's Nick Borrman of WagerTalk.com. All right, guys, we're going to head into the second game. This one is being played on Wednesday. Lille and Chelsea in this one. Chelsea won the first leg at home at 2-0. Chelsea -115 on the road. The draw is +265 and Lille +340. Kev, I'm going to go to you first on this one. Listen, I talked about on last week's show. Well, obviously, you and I have an affection for this Chelsea squad. We both released them last year in the knockout stages to win the Champions League, and they did not disappoint at odds of, I believe it was 16-1 back then. And on last week's show, guys, I'm going to talk about this one. I'm going to talk about it. I did mention, because I released to my clients Real Madrid at the start of the knockout stages to win the Champions League, just because of the price on them was one that you could hedge out. I know, Kev, you're not a big hedge fan, but I said if you're going to take Real Madrid last week, you might as well take them in the futures at 33-1. And we saw what they did to PSG. They're into the quarterfinal stages, and hopefully on Friday, when the draw comes out, they get a good draw, and we can get through the quarterfinal stages there. But first of all, thoughts on last week's game against PSG, Kev, if you have anything, and then obviously on tomorrow's game, Chelsea and Lille.
Well, I'd just like to say I wish I had listened to you about Real Madrid. We were talking about in the group chat before the game. So I'm a bit kicking myself about that, but it was a fantastic game. Benzema was absolutely electric in that game and, fully deserved to go through as well. I thought, just PSG, the biggest melts in Europe, they always find a way over the last 5 or 6 years to screw up a lead. But, I'm the same. But hopefully you get Manchester United or Atletico in the next round. And, Real Madrid have a very good chance of going through. But in terms of this game tomorrow, Chelsea at Lille, I think, you can't avoid the elephant in the room here. Tuchel's done a first-class job of, insulating what's been going on at Chelsea right now in terms of on-the-field stuff versus, obviously, what's going off the field. We know the business side of things is a complete mess right now. It'll be interesting to see how that pans out moving forward with the team. and all the media frenzy. But, I've heard a lot of people say, look, it won't affect them, the professionals. But I just don't see that. I don't see that personally. The British government have stepped in. They've froze all the assets of the club right now. They're allowing Chelsea a special exemption license until the end of May. But, they're tight. No player bonuses. There's restricted travel budgets. There's no merchandise or ticket sales. Probably the biggest, of the bunch in terms of the players is there's a freeze in all current contract negotiations as well. So, these players are only human at the end of the day. It's a situation that, it's naturally going to play on some of the players' minds, I'd imagine. And the British government have warned, the kids' gloves will come off Chelsea at the end of May. So, you'd have to imagine a lot of these players simply won't be around from the start of next season. Despite all that, in terms of the game, I actually think it's a good thing for Chelsea to be going on the road to Europe. Might be something of a reprieve for them to be going on the road. And as I think this will much more likely affect them domestically. So I quite like the value on Chelsea simply to win this game here on Wednesday. Lille are a team that have been heavily relying on defence this season. They own the second best expected goals against record in French League One this year, right behind PSG. So, they're a very competent team at the back. But they can't rely on that here. They're already in a hole in this tie. So at some point in this game, they're going to have to open things up. And if and when they decide to do that, Chelsea have some serious pace and counter-attack, in which to run into. You got the likes of Mount, Pulisic, Ziyech, Havertz, and so on. So, while Lille are no doubt, they're a good team. They put in a lot of attacks over that first leg. They outshot Chelsea almost 2-1 in that game. But, they were always kind of toothless in how they approached a lot of their attacks. They never really looked like scoring that game to me. And they tried to keep the defensive shape throughout in that first leg. But I don't think that's what we're going to see here. I think Lille have to push forward in this one. Play it a bit riskier. They're 2-0 down. And with the pace that Chelsea have to exploit them at the back here, I quite like Chelsea to pick them off and for Chelsea to win this one outright at around a -112 here on Wednesday. So, just give me Chelsea on the money line.
All right, Kev, I love that. That's Kevin Dolan of WagerTalk.com with his take on this. And Kev, I believe you have, I'm going to throw this right back at you before we go to Nick with his take. I believe you have a 5% play up this week in Champions League. Is that correct?
Yeah, we got a 5% play loaded up for tomorrow. So, all good with that.
Yeah, so head over to WagerTalk.com. You can actually pick up the 3-day soccer package or the 3-day all-access package and get Kev's Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday plays across both Champions League and Europa League and Europa League Conference, which has a bunch of games going as well. Nick, I'm going to go you next on this one. Much like Kev said, that with Lille's obviously their difficulty in scoring. The thing I find, which obviously is fading teams that on the handicap just before a Champions League game, and you look at Lille, and prior to they were favored by a goal against Metz prior to their game in League One. That game finished in a 0-0 draw. And then prior to this game, they play at home against Saint Etienne. And again, a scoreless draw. Thoughts on this one?
I think, Chelsea, listen, they won this competition last year because of their defense. And I don't see any reason. The main thing I think we're going to take away from this game is that Tuchel's going to be preaching defense coming into here. It's almost impossible that Lille are going to overcome this 2-goal deficit. And, Chelsea do not want to give them any hope of having a chance. So I think they're going to be preaching defense. I think they're going to be playing very tight at the back. They're going to rely on that defense as they have in last year and a lot in their Premier League, even this weekend against Newcastle, winning 1-0. So I like the idea of taking Lille team total under half a goal. So basically Lille not to score. It's around plus 150, 155 right now, which I think is great value. Lille's failed to score in 3 of their 7 Champions League matches so far, including being blanked twice at home in the group stage against Sevilla and Wolfsburg. Both matches ended 0-0, and then they won versus Salzburg 1-0. So they've only scored that 1 goal in 3 home matches in the Champions League so far. Meanwhile, Chelsea, they've kept 5 clean sheets in 7 Champions League matches this season. They've allowed less than 1 expected goal in all but 1 game, including both matches against Juventus. So, if you're a real fan of some awesome Champions League knockout soccer, you can bet the 0-0 correct score at 9-1 plus 900. I think this thing's going to play out very slow. I don't see any reason why Chelsea push anything here. Of course, as Kevin mentioned, if the opportunity is there, and because Lille do have to press a little bit, it could happen where they do score. So I'm not going to. I think playing Chelsea is probably the right side, but at the same token, Lille, they can't press early in this game. If they give up a goal early and they're down 3, this thing is over. So to me, they have to kind of draw, let this thing draw out a little bit and try to, maybe take a chance if they have them. But I don't see them really pressing until late in this game. So, you could just take the under for the game as well if you'd like, but I like the under team total for Lille at a nice plus price, plus 150 right now.
All right, Nick Borrman, WagerTalk.com. And Pavlos, what Nick says, a lot of it I obviously agree with. Again, to reiterate, the away goals don't come into any of these competitions. It doesn't matter in this game anyways, because Chelsea did win at home at Stamford Bridge 2-0 in that one. I looked at the total. The total in the first half of this game, Pavlos, is 1 for the first half in this game, and they're expecting a tight one. The draw in the first half is plus 110 if you like it, and I don't think Lille has to come out and play an open game from the start. Obviously they're going to play to get a lead and try and get that 1-0 lead and then build off of that. But I just don't see goals in this game. I just don't see goals in the first half. Can you talk me off of taking the under?
To be honest, guys, I played the scenario in my head about this match, and I think I decided to go with both teams to score here. Lille, they're doing something weird with their rotations lately. They used to use, Burak Yilmaz up front and some other guys, but now they use 3 very quick guys. And the way I see that, Chelsea, they have a couple of problems at the back. I hear that they might use Azpilicueta at the right flank, and then what's the other guy? Marcos Alonso at the left flank. And Marcos Alonso, no matter how talented he is, he's just very, very slow. So if Lille, if Chelsea end up using Marcos Alonso at the left flank, he's gonna have serious trouble, with Lille's pacey offense. The problem for Lille is that Renato Sanchez just got injured in the match against Saint Etienne, which is kind of a big blow, but they do have a lot of players that could possibly, man the flanks. So at some point, Lille would have to go in front. They need to score twice in order to stay alive, not even, to send the match to extra time. So even if they do get a goal up, they'll probably open up in search of the second goal. And Chelsea, who also have a very pacey, midfield and offense, they're going to hurt them. I actually do see Lille scoring the first goal here, maybe, and then looking for the second. While Chelsea, they'll hit them on the counter attack. So I like both teams to score here. I'm not going big on it. I just a scenario that I played in my head. Another scenario that I played in my head is Ben Arfa to score the last goal, and it's at plus 1,000. We also saw it in the reverse fixture. He was introduced at the match at the. Let me check here. At the 81st minute, he did get a card, but he didn't score. So he's a very talented player, but he's aging. So maybe they'll need to summon his, his expertise and his experience in order to overturn this 2-0. He's not fit to start the entire match and play a lot of minutes. So I believe he's going to come in the second half. Possibly also Burak Yilmaz, who is also aging, also a very good striker, but not very good lately and very quiet as far as goal scoring goes. And Lille, they have struggled to score a lot of goals lately. They went goalless against Chelsea. They had only just two shots on goal. Goalless against Metz. Goalless against Saint Etienne over the weekend. So, but even though their offense is struggling, they do need to get goals. So I believe that they'll, in their desperation, they'll try to get up front, and Chelsea will hurt them. So I like both teams to score here, and possibly a little sprinkle on Ben Arfa to score the last goal at plus 1,000.
All right, so you did not convince me to, or you tried to convince me to stay off the under. We're going to see how this game goes. And
Yeah.
when I look at goal scorers, Pavlos, I'm going to throw it back to you real quickly on this one. Going off of what both Nick and Kevin said, the fact that Lille may have to in this game open it up at some point. I look at Kai Havertz, that goal he scored against Chelsea. Absolutely, it was a great pass. I think from it was Jorginho. He literally took it in the box, controlled it, and put it in to win that game 1-0. It was a fantastic goal. He's plus 160 to score a goal. Now, anytime you play any of these goal scoring props, most, if not all books, give you the option of setting it up where your bet is void if the player does not start the game. I always sort of advocate that one because in a game like this where Chelsea doesn't have to win the game, the lineup may be a lot different than what we expect. So obviously wait till usually lineups are posted about an hour before the game starts. If you see Havertz in the lineup, Pavlos, what do you think? Plus 160 to score a goal?
Yeah, I love it. He's a very talented player. He can score, he can pass, he can dribble, and against this little defense that used to be good, but this season they've been struggling a lot, and they have some players who are really slow in the midfield and in the back. So I wouldn't be surprised if he took advantage of that. Slow defenders and slow midfield, and maybe he can actually score a fantastic goal. Maybe a dribble and a shot, something like that. But he can also head. I mean, this guy is like a mini Haaland. Give him a couple of years, and I think he's going to be like very Haaland-esque, if you will. So yeah, I like that.
Haaland-esque. I like that, Pavlos. All right, guys, we are going to head into Europa League game on Thursday. This is a good one. Sevilla and West Ham. We'll have a quick look at the odds on this one. There they are. Sevilla on the road, plus 240. The draw is plus 240 as well. West Ham at home, plus 125 here. A lot of pluses straight across the board there. First leg in Spain, in Sevilla. 1-0 for the home side here, a team that has won this competition 6 times, 4 times under the current format or current name of the Europa League. Nick, I'm going to go to you first on this one. The Hammers, after three losses, a big win on the weekend against Aston Villa. Can they build off of that one and get back into this tie? What do you think?
I took Sevilla in that first leg, which was not an easy win, but nice to cash that one. This is another game, even though it's leg 2, I'm looking towards the under here. I mean, Sevilla certainly is the king of the unders this year. And like you mentioned, Carmen, they know how to win and advance in this competition. With a 1-0 lead after leg 1, I see a very good chance that they move on again here. And they're going to be doing everything they can just to keep and maintain that lead and protect it for 90 minutes. They've been excellent on defense this year. In 9 Champions and Europa League games thus far, they've allowed more than 1 goal only 1 time. And in La Liga, they've allowed a league-low 19 goals through 29 games, including just 8 in 15 away matches, which is pretty incredible, while only scoring 12 away from home, too, in La Liga. So definitely low-scoring games. Thus, they have an 8-20 over-under record on the year in La Liga and an incredible 1-14 over-under record away from home. Of course, this is La Liga we're talking about, not the Champions League, but it's definitely, most likely going to carry over into this game because that's just how they play. With that goal lead, I can't imagine they do anything here but really try to squeeze the Hammers and make it very difficult for them to find any open chance. So, and then if Sevilla score a goal first as well, you have to imagine this thing is all but over. So I like Sevilla also a little bit on the Asian line at plus a quarter of a goal, but I like under 2.25 even better because I think this thing could play out 0-0 or maybe a 1-0, which might go either way if the Hammers do find a way to break through. But I don't see a lot of goals or chances, just like leg 1 in this matchup.
All right, Nick Borrman, WagerTalk.com. I'm looking forward to these games not only today, but the next couple of games. And like I said, I'm in Vegas right now. for the next 12 days for March Madness, and that kicks off on Thursday, the actual tournament. The play-in games for March Madness start, I believe, tonight, the play-in games for the four teams trying to get into the tournament, so I'm looking forward to that. But it'll be football, European football, for the next couple of days during the daytime here in Vegas. So I'm really looking forward to that. Kev, I'm going to go to you next on this one. Like, listen, West Ham, they had a great season last year. They're having a pretty good season this year. Again, vying for a top 4 spot in the Premier League. But can they get past this very tough defensive Sevilla team? What do you think?
Yeah, well, Nick mentioned that it was a really close game last week in Leg 1. I thought West Ham maybe a little unfortunate not one to come away with a loss. They played, reasonably well. I thought a draw would have been a fair result. But no question, look, West Ham have it all to do here. And now with the news of Mikel Antonio as well potentially out, you'd have to probably favour Sevilla in this one, especially to progress. Sevilla to progress minus 250. Doesn't appeal to me that much. I think the value's obviously gone on that line. But I do think this will be a good game here on Thursday. I do expect West Ham to come to the party. And, far from avoiding a selection this game like it did last week, I'm going to go for what I've dubbed my Europa League special here. For those of you who remember, if we go back to last season, the final, I gave out a crazy bet. I gave out Gerard Moreno to score first with Villarreal and the draw halftime, full-time prop as well in that game. So Villarreal to be leading at the half through a Gerard Moreno goal with Manchester United to draw at full-time. I believe it was 22-1. I'd have to go back and double-check that. It was around 21, 22-1. And honestly, I probably should have retired from this business after that selection. Twitter blew up. I'm a genius. I'm a savant. I should have walked away at the top, Carmine. Greatest handicapper ever to do it. But I'm going to try something similar here this week. As Pavlos said, you have a picture in your mind about how this game's going to go. And because of that, so I'll put some things together for this game. And I do think this game is going to end up being extremely tight. I can definitely see a 1-1 type of score line here. So I'm going to take Benrahma first goal scorer in this one. I'm going to pair that up with West Ham and the draw on the halftime, full-time prop line as well, along with the game to finish with under 3 goals. So we're looking for Benrahma to score first, put West Ham up, finishes 1-1 at the end. And that is 80-1. And I think I'll definitely retire if that hits. I'm done in the game at 81. But I think West Ham will start brightly here. But look, we all know Sevilla, the most successful Europa League club team in history for a reason. They're so hard to beat. They usually always find a way to grind out a result in these type of high pressure games. So Benrahma, first goal scorer in this one, combined with the West Ham draw, halftime, full-time prop, and under 3 goals, 80-1. Definitely worth having a small bet on that, in my opinion.
Kev, I remember that Gerard Moreno one. I think I posted it when it went to halftime, and it was somewhere. You're right, correct. It was somewhere in the 20s, anywhere from 20-1 to up to 26-1. That they would have the 1-0 lead at halftime with him scoring the goal. So that was an insane call by you in that one, Pavlos. How are you approaching this game? Are you approaching it from a side, a total, or a prop type of wager?
I'm approaching it from a totals perspective. Nick made some great points about Sevilla's under. They have the second most unders in the La Liga, the most unders on the road, 14-1 to the under 2.5. Also, each of their 4 away matches in the Europa and Champions League this season had under 2.5 goals. So we all know, I'm not saying something that's unknown out there. We all know that Sevilla are a defensive juggernaut. They rarely concede, goals. And when they do, they more rarely, they concede a couple of goals. So when you look at West Ham, they have already been struggling up front. They scored 1 or no goals in 8 of their last 10. The last time they scored twice was against Aston Villa, actually over the weekend, but it was a 2-1 win. But all 3 goals, they came past the 17th minute. And the last time they scored 2 goals was also against Leicester, who, they have a terrible defense. It's going to be better. Side note, Leicester's defense is going to be better when Fana comes back. But it goes to show that West Ham have a trouble scoring lately, and now with the possible absence of Michail Antonio, I just don't see them scoring 2 goals against the Sevilla defense. And Sevilla, they don't even need to win. They just need to play this match out, grind it out, run the clock. If it's a draw, they're fine by them. If it's a win, maybe they'll probably score one and then sit, park the bus. So I just don't see how this match goes to over 2.5 goals, even though Sevilla, they do have a couple of important injuries, especially Diego Carlos, Papu Gomez. They have a lot of, players in the midfield and in the defense that are going to be missing. So that is kind of a red flag, but I just don't trust this West Ham defense, this West Ham offense, against the Sevilla defense. So I would be surprised if we saw 3 goals here. So I like the under 2.25 goals at plus money. It's plus 100, I believe. So yeah, I just don't see a lot of goals here. And Sevilla, they have a great European pedigree. They know how to play matches exactly like this one where they won the first leg. So they won't risk anything. There's no reason to risk anything. So they'll probably grind it out. Maybe a lot of cards here. So yeah, I just I like the under 2.25 goals at plus money. I'm surprised actually it's plus money.
Yeah, and I get it. Yeah, the under 2.5, the standard for totals normally across Europe, that one's at minus 150, but the under two, as you said, the 2.25 goals is plus money. You can also look at Pavlos. I'm going to go to you quickly before we get into our best bet segment. You look at it, and sometimes in a game where I don't see a ton of goals or many goals, I like that both teams to score no and under 2.5, and that's plus 105 in this game. This could very easily be one of those 1-0 type of games again. And even if it's 1-0 for West Ham in this one, obviously the game goes to extra time and possibly penalties, but all bets are graded on the 90 minutes plus injury time result. So any thoughts on that? Both teams score no and under 2.5 at plus money.
Yeah, it actually sounds really good. If either team goes up front, if Sevilla goes up front, then the match is over. I mean, West Ham are gonna need 2 goals, and there's probably no way they can score twice against the Sevilla defense. And if West Ham score first, they'll probably sit back and it's not gonna be easy. It's not gonna be an early goal, so it's probably gonna be late in the game. So in the case that they go up 1 goal, in the later stages of the game, they'll probably sit back and try to force the extra time because that's the safest thing to do. So yeah, I love that. What's the price? Plus 105.
Plus 105. Yeah.
Yeah. It's
plus
great.
105.
Nice.
And as you said, it's a very good Sevilla team through La Liga this year. 28 games. They are the best defensive side thus far. Only 19 goals allowed through 28 games in La Liga. Albeit they're second place, 10 points back of Real Madrid. Still the best defense thus far. So we'll see how they do on Thursday defensive-wise. Guys, before we get into the best bet segment of this show, it's Tuesday, so it's $2 Tuesdays over at WagerTalk and Sportsmemo. $2 Tuesdays is where you can get a featured cappers play, their best bet play for only $2. These are plays that normally sell for $25 and $35 over at WagerTalk.com. It's the Prez, Lawrence Presman. He has a NHL best bet up for tonight. You can get that for $2. Along with that, there are some great promos included in the analysis section on some packages. So head over to WagerTalk.com and Sportsmemo and pick up the $2 Tuesday plays for only $2. All right, guys, it is the best bet segment of the show. Nick, I'm going to go to you first. I gave you last week off for the best bet segment because you covered all 4 games last week, filling in for me. So it's on you.
You're muted, Nick. Nick, you're muted.
I'm going to go to the MLS for this game, guys. And this is a rematch of the Eastern Conference Finals last year, where New York City edged out Philly 2-1. Working in Philly's favor here is a great angle in the MLS is playing against teams that are also competing in the CONCACAF Champions League, which New York City is, compared to the European rosters that play in Champions League plus domestic league, the MLS is clearly not as deep. And being early in the season, these teams are not, running and firing on all cylinders either. So it's been a great angle over the years to fade the teams playing in the Champions League. And New York has a match actually on Wednesday night this week. So I like Philly coming into town here. They're getting 3/4 of a goal to start this game. They have a very, very good defense. New York City finally showed up and scored goals against Montreal this past weekend, their first of the year after being blanked in their first 2 games. But Philly have allowed just 0.69 expected goals in each of the 3 games, or the average over the first 3 games, 2 of them staying under the total. So I do like the under here as well, but I really like Philly. I think they could win this thing. I think there's some good value on them taking them in the 3-way money line, but plus 3/4 a goal, the Union over New York City on Saturday in the MLS.
All right, Nick Borrman. Nick, I know you're a Philly guy, and I know you're a Union fan, and I've invited you north of the border. I am a Toronto FC season ticket holder. I'll take you to a game. Come up for the weekend. I'll put you up in a hotel or something and come up, watch a game. We'll watch the game together. The TFC off to a slow start, Nick, thus far, but
Yes.
I'm looking forward to the end or July and August as far as MLS goes, because as we all know, the big news this year in MLS was that Toronto FC signed Lorenzo Insigne from Napoli. He will come over and play in July. He'll make his thing. So I'll get a box at the game and invite a bunch of my friends. Come to the game. Make your way north of the border, Nick. The borders are open now, so you can travel back and forth freely, my friend. So come up and watch a game with me. Pavlos, I'm going to go to you next for your show best bet.
Yeah, I'm gonna take you guys to the German Bundesliga on Saturday. I'm gonna take the over 2.5 goals in a match between Stuttgart and Augsburg. Augsburg are sitting 3 points above the red line, and Stuttgart are sitting 2 points below the red line. So this is essentially a battle to avoid the relegation, and I expect a typical passionate and goal fest Bundesliga match. Stuttgart, they've been really bad defensively. They kept just 1 clean sheet in the last 11 matches. 4 of the last 6 went over 2.5 goals, and 5 of their last 7 home matches had over 2.5 goals. Now, as for Augsburg, they kept just 2 clean sheets in their last 8, and over 2.5 goals is 3-1 in their last 4 away matches. Furthermore, each of the last 4 matches between the two sides had over 2.5 goals, and 3 of those also had over 4.5 goals. So again, I expect a huge goal fest between the two sides. When you see a Bundesliga over at almost even money, this over is at -105. You just have to grab it. And for a couple of extra props that I like in this match, if you follow me on Twitter, guys, I've been searching for that 3-3 draw in the Bundesliga this season. There's a lot of 3-3 draws traditionally in the Bundesliga, and this season we have seen none of them. So I like the 3-3 draw here. I know it's a long shot, but it's plus 6,000. And I'm going to also sprinkle a little bit of money for either team to win by 3-2, because, Stuttgart, they have come very, very close to the 3-3 goal, the 3-3 correct score. They've 4 times. There's a lot of 3-2s, 3-1s, 4-1s, and so on and so forth. So I like the 3-3 draw at plus 6,000. Augsburg to win by 3-2 at plus 350. 3,500 and Stuttgart to win by 3-2 at plus 2,500. So I see goals here, and I just throw some money on the correct scores.
All right, Pavlos Laguretos of SportsMem. Kev, before I go, I'm gonna go to you here. We're running short on time. Make sure you guys visit WagerTalk.com. St. Patrick's Day on Thursday, and there's going to be a great promo for Kev. Kev, give us a best bet for the weekend.
Yeah, I'm going to head over to Hungary, Carmine, and we're going to take Mezzo Kovic to Big Ferenc Varos on Friday night. Hefty plus 754 outright price tag, and that one over the past few seasons, big road underdogs, obviously meeting certain parameters, clocked up a massive plus 67.26 unit in profit over the last 167 times. That's a 40.28% overall yield, absolutely huge. So I've gave out a few of these Hungarian ones in the past of usually cash bigs. So take Mezzo Kovic at plus 754 to Big Ferenc Varos on Friday night over in Hungary. Best bet.
All right, I love it. Ferencvaros, we talked about that name and the pronunciation a few times on Stoppage Time. So, uh, good luck to you on that one, guys. I'm gonna go. We're short on time, so I'm gonna go real quick. I'm gonna go to a Serie A game this weekend. Napoli at home, minus a goal against Udinese. This is a very good spot for them. A very bad spot for Udinese, I believe, and I see a multi-goal win here. I had Napoli on the weekend as a 5% play, and they got the job done at plus money on the road at Verona, winning that game 2-1. It got a little tight at the end, but obviously they held on and won that game. I'm going to look for them to win and still push AC Milan for that top spot in the Serie A for the Scudetto. I see a multi-goal win here, so I'm going to go Napoli -1 against Udinese on the weekend at home at Diego Armando Maradona Stadium in Naples. So that is the show best bet for me. Guys, don't forget, it's $2 Tuesday. You get a feature cappers place for only $2 at WagerTalk and SportsMemo. The Prez is the $2 guy over at WagerTalk with an NHL best bet. Top of the hour, Andrew McInnes, myself, and Don Buster will be doing the Puck Time show. So if you're logged in, stay logged in and watch that show. We'll see you next Tuesday. We'll talk about the draw on Friday and the matchups heading forward to the quarterfinal stages. Guys, thanks for tuning in. And as always, good luck with your wagers.
Tuesdays is known as $2 Tuesdays at WagerTalk.com and SportsMemo.com, where you can get the hottest handicappers, best bet, or daily package for only $2.